Today we write an open letter to everyone out there. Stop it. Today on the show. Good morning, Scallywags.
Another itchy topic that has been under our skin for a while, and we're going to let it out.
Now, this is actually a conversation that could spill over into the next week or two, possibly.
Yeah, it very well
in
could.
different factions. This is a conversation that started off with asking the question, why life will never be as cool as it was in the 80s and 90s ever again.
And that's not just because we're old.
No, that has nothing to do with nostalgia. It has everything to do with just how uptight people are. The fact that my saying that life will never be as good as it was back then will probably offend people.
Yeah. We'll probably get some comments, but
It's
that's
true.
okay. It's a discussion we're willing to have.
It's true. People are far too uptight. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say something that will anger some people, and that is the fact that anybody out there should be able to say whatever they feel like saying, regardless of who it offends. Why? One, we have freedom of speech, so that's their right. Two, it's just an opinion, so that doesn't make them right to say it. And three, George Carlin put it best. Every single word that offends any person out there is just a word in and of itself. It's the intent behind that word that makes that person a bigot, a racist, a sexist, a whatever you want to call it. But today we are focusing on one thing in particular, and that is fashion.
Us
Kind of
talking
took a massive left turn there.
We're just driving the bus down this way. Nope, we're going.
Yeah, we're starting off simple. So what does that mean exactly?
Well, it means that we have noticed a disturbing, not disturbing, but a definite trend over the last decade that the people who are designing fashion nowadays have no originality.
The 50s had its own style. You had, poodle skirts. You had
Ben looked and wore suits everywhere, and they
pretty
looked
much,
good.
yeah. And even in the youth, they had a lot of shirts with collars, things like that. But even like your greaser looks or whatever, if you want to go that far. The 60s, you start seeing things like the hippies, things like that, a little more freedom. 70s, it was very free for all.
It was definitely
It was
free
people
for all.
finding themselves for the first time ever. So you had your t-shirts and jeans, bell bottoms. You had your disco stuff. You had that kind of thing going on. The big hair, that type of thing coming in. The 80s rolls around and you've got your typical 80s styles. Cyndi Lauper, Madonna. There you go.
That's pretty much the
flock
80s.
of seagulls.
Yep.
The 90s rolls around. It's very grunge. It's very the goth look starts to come in.
Yeah.
The pixie cuts, those type of things. Baby doll dresses. I miss baby doll dresses. God, I miss baby doll dresses. And then the 2000s rolled around, and things kind of started to take a weird turn. In the early 2000s, it kind of became very, I want to say, business casual.
A lot of just like polos and khakis and deck shoes.
But then, mid 2000s, early 2010s, we don't have a new style for the 2000s, really. We just start picking and choosing things that we liked from old styles.
Yeah, and kind of
taking the stereotype of that genre and making that the new thing.
Yeah. Old Navy does it. Hot Topic does it. Oh, I wish Hot Topic wouldn't do that at all.
I wish Hot Topic wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
I miss Hot Topic desperately. Now, when I say that, you're probably thinking, oh, you can probably go to the mall and go to Hot Topic right now. No, I'm talking about Hot Topic like mid-1990s Hot Topic, when it was a place that you had to go to a major city to go to, and people were scared to go in there.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Where you could buy the Jinko pants and the...
Then Hot Topic was purchased by The Gap. And believe it or not, fun fact here, actually, when Hot Topic opened up a store in Springfield, Missouri, right here where we're located, that is when they actually changed their persona, their whatever you want to call it, the way they focused themselves. And the reason why they did that, and this was coming from the girl I was dating at the time, she actually was interviewing for a management position there. She knew what Hot Topic was before that, and they basically informed her of this during the interview, and that's how I know this. They had just been bought out by The Gap, for one. And for two, they knew that coming into Springfield that they were entering the buckle of the Bible Belt.
Yep.
and they were softening their image as a result of that, and it all went downhill from there.
It should never have went downhill.
No, it should never been bought by the Gap.
No, I agree.
I mean, there was like enemies.
The preps and the golf.
Yeah,
they were always
did
in
not
different
get along
fashions.
back then.
And but no, it is a very interesting thing, like you pointed out. I've noticed it as I have gotten older, and I guess it's because I'm a little more aware of things. But you can't take little aspects of, and I hesitate to use the word little aspects of what was good.
Yeah.
And then bastardize
Well,
it.
it's not even about what was good. It's like I said, it's taking the stereotype of that. Like you go to an '80s party, and everyone's going to be dressed like Cyndi Lauper or
the
Madonna.
people from Miami Vice.
Yeah, and everyone's going to be dressed like that. But if you actually look at pictures from the '80s, it was a lot of t-shirts and jeans.
Yeah.
The t-shirts had shorter sleeves. You might have had a few guys in like the crop tops if they were jocks. Mm-hmm. A lot of cut-off jean shorts.
Now, jean shorts were rampant.
That's '80s.
Yeah.
Jorts, yeah.
Jorts.
That was '80s. The people that dressed like the Cyndi Laupers and the Madonnas and stuff like that, those were club kids of the '80s. That's it.
That was
a very
exactly
small
the
subsection.
vast majority of the rest of the teenagers in the early 20s in the 80s were basically, yeah, you're right, just jeans and t-shirts.
Yeah. It was kind of carryover from the late '70s.
Yeah.
Watch that '70s show. That's
70s
what
show,
the '80s looked
that's
like.
the 80s pretty much looked like that 70s show. And even that 70s show was making fun of the 70s. Not
But
because
the attire actually got it pretty.
the
pretty
attire
close.
was pretty close. Now we move into the 90s, and like you said, that was the grunge look. And I've seen the grunge look came back about 2012, 2013. It really tried to, certain aspects of our industry tried to bring it back, but they got it wrong. In my opinion, they got it very wrong. They took Kurt Cobain and they tried to
started
make a
wearing
line
flannel.
out of that and make everything was flannel. Flannel was a big thing for a long time.
Flannel was a Seattle look. Flannel was not very universal.
No.
Now, I mean, there was some, your true, genuine grunge kids, sure. But, like, wearing flannel in the summertime in Missouri, just, it's not, no, you'd sweat to death. But, like,
Ring.
but, like, the baby doll dresses, the pixie cuts, the
pixie cuts,
the
yeah.
combat boots,
Combat
Doc
boots.
Martens. I mean, I still have my combat boots from
I
back then.
love Doc Martens. What are you kidding me?
I hated Doc Martens. I refused to ever own Doc Martens because they were really expensive and they didn't last long. I went to my local surplus city and I bought actual combat boots, jump boots, and I still have 2 or 3 pair.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I have a pair from Germany.
Yeah. So what can you say about the late 90s, early 2000s?
Well,
What has come
that's
back
when
from
it
there?
went into. That's kind of when it went into. I hate to say, man, I really hate to say this, but I really think. I mean, I know September 11th changed pretty much everything in this country, and I think it legitimately changed everything in this country, and that's right about the time that it really started. I mean, that's when everything kind of started to snowball downhill. We became so afraid of everything, and that's when, disciplinary actions for parents changed. That's when what's okay and what's not okay started to change. That's when people started becoming more sensitive, and that's when people started becoming more easily offended. And I mean, that is where the snowball began. And I hate that fact, but it does go down as far as fashion, and that's the scary truth of it.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I can't find a reason to disagree with you because it does seem about that time that people started to pick and choose the past as opposed to doing something edgy or different, or that's about the time we also got a lot of remakes.
Yeah. What it honestly kind of feels like is everything froze on that day, and it did. I mean, everything legitimately froze on that day. I mean, it was. I remember just a handful of days after that day, going to work, and I remember hearing a flame fly over, and everyone stopped what they were doing, stopped what they were talking about, and looked up because there were no planes for a few days.
Yeah, there were no planes.
And you're so used to it's just background noise for just a couple of days, not having that, and then suddenly you hear it, and you're like, oh wow.
Yeah, you definitely became aware of a lot of things.
So everything froze on that day. So I think at that point in time, maybe we started to say we knew that nothing was ever going to be the same going forward. So maybe that's why we started looking back.
As a protective measure?
Maybe. Of just like, things will never be...
This was at the time things were different. They were more comfortable.
They were more comfortable. They were safe.
Yes, safe is a good word.
Safe, happy, good times. And maybe that's what it is we needed that safe comfort zone, and we just got so used to that we haven't gotten out of it, and maybe that's what we need to do.
We're approaching 20 years.
Yeah.
And 2021 will be 20 years.
And it's getting worse.
I do. I think it is getting worse. I think there's a lot of creativity that's being stifled around the world because of this overarching need to be politically correct.
Well, yeah.
We don't want to offend this aspect of someone's culture, or we don't want to offend another person because of the way they dress. Because
it's absolutely impossible to say or do damn near anything anymore without offending someone, and I'll prove it by the fact that my saying that will offend someone. And that's true, and that is sad. It's not a way to live. I mean, so we're literally putting ourselves back into a place of fear because we're so afraid of who we're going to hurt.
Yeah. I'm not afraid of talking and speaking my mind. I do run it through a brain filter, but I don't. Sometimes I wish I didn't have to. Sometimes I honestly wish I could just say, "Hey, this is what I think," and like you said earlier, it's words and it's an opinion, and it doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just someone's opinion.
Yeah, there's a great saying about opinions, about how everybody's got one. Yep. Most of them stink. You know what I'm talking about. Who cares?
The bottom line is, guys, is I think we're going to expand on this topic a little more over the next couple
weeks. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, fashion is always come in loops, and it's always cycled around on itself. But here in the 2000s, it's become even more prevalent.
Yeah, it's always been a way that, like, we like this thing from the past, but we're going to incorporate it into this new thing. Versus now, where it's like, well, the 80s were cool, let's do that. But we're going to pick, like, the most random things from the 80s, and that's what we're going to consider nostalgic.
I'm honestly waiting for the Aquanet and the big hair to come back.
Shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads on everything.
I can assure you shoulder pads won't come back.
Never say never.
Never say never, because bell bottoms came back.
Yes, they did.
Bell bottoms are cool.
They are. They're very comfy.
Case in point.
Case in point.
Your legs to breathe. That's the only reason I like.
But only your ankles.
My ankles get sweaty.
So yeah, just and again, you could disagree with everything we've said. It's just an opinion.
Yep.
So what do you think? Give your opinion right down there in the comments below.
Put it on our Facebook. Comment up on our Twitter. Take a look and take some photos on our. Put us on. I don't
Check
even
us
know
out
what
on
I'm
Facebook,
saying.
Instagram, and Twitter.
Yes. Brain, it was gone for a second. YouTube, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know that we uploaded on this day, whichever day it happens to be.
Which is every Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And you also get your trailers on Sunday. And specials on Saturday.
You're on Facebook.
You'll get your next blooper reel this Saturday.
Facebook, right here, Facebook. Get you one of those. Nice show shirt.
Lovely.
Short sleeve like he's wearing right there is going to be $20. You can get a long sleeve for $22 or a fabulous hoodie for $25.
Indeed you can. And I'm going to do something a little different tomorrow, I think.
Something you say.
I think we're going to take this show on the road. We'll see you then.
My name is Andrew Newby from Springfield, Missouri. Here's your Russian clip of the day.
Hey guys, thanks for watching that video. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and if you liked what you see, go ahead and click on our faces to go ahead and subscribe to get all of our Monday through Friday stuff.
Indeed, and here's a couple of links down below that you can follow to watch more shows like it. Tons of great content right here at Scallywag Productions. We'll see you tomorrow.